Hello and welcome to the Sunday League Pundit Show, episode 10, finally, in double figures. Wasn't sure we'd actually get this far, but there you go. It seems we do entertain ourselves at the very least. I would like to say that we are still recording Tin Ribs for Patreon, though he won't be on the YouTube, but he will be on Patreon if you'd like to take a step over there. That's patreon.com/Sunday League Pundit Show. Our audio is going to be available as usual from Tuesday mornings every single week. The YouTube will be available from Wednesday, but the video will be available on Patreon on Tuesday, a day before the YouTube is available. We have done our predictions last week, and the results are in.
R1.
Yeah, we are missing one, but we'll probably add that and go through that next week. But we'll go through them in part 2, I think.
Yeah.
And find out who's got how many points. And given the results that came up, I'm going to go with not many, but we'll have a look when we go into part 2. I'd like to sincerely apologise to our YouTube viewers because episode 9 was banned from YouTube when I tried to upload it because I thought I was being quite helpful in trying to add clips of what we were talking about. So we're talking about Darren Bent hitting the beach ball.
Yeah.
So I found a clip of Darren Bent hitting the beach ball and I added to the video.
Lovely visual aids.
Turns out that particular visual aid is copyrighted and YouTube took offence to me using it.
Yeah.
So
Who'd have thought that people like the FA would want free publicity removed?
yeah, it's a bit crazy really. It's not like I was using the whole video. Besides, it was years ago as well. So it's not like I'm trying to promote it before it's been shown.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is and it's been copyrighted. However, that full video with clips, with screenshots is available. Again, unfortunately, on Patreon. I apologise for that. But it won't be available on YouTube. Unfortunately, there's not a lot I can do about that at this point. What I would like to do is...
Firstly, apologise for the sound of the rain.
I'm going to try and cut that out, actually, when I go through the editing later. Yeah, because there is a bit on the editor that can cut out background noises, or it's meant to. So I'm hoping it's not
Is there
a problem.
Is there a filter for like editing out tin ribs?
No, but I have desperately searched the internet for an editor that will do that for us.
I'm not surprised. A special edition without tin ribs.
Yeah, so it was copyright issues as to why episode 9 wasn't on YouTube, but there we go. There's not a lot we can do about it. So what we'll do now is play the jingle. Welcome to episode 10 of the podcast. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the week's events. I've made a couple of notes about certain games that we've had this week and certain things that we may like to talk about.
And me for a change.
And Jim Jam's actually come prepared this week. Tim Ribs has come like he's going on a date when he leaves here.
No, just knew that we were sitting in here, and so I bought something warm.
It's
and he didn't expect it
well.
to be like
Sahara. He didn't think I'd have already done a podcast with Zach, so that's been on the little heater that we've got. It's been on
so I
over an hour.
Furnace.
Yeah, it is rather toasty there, I'll be honest. So the week's events. What I've started on is terrible game, which I took great pleasure in, which was Brighton versus Spurs. I don't know if you saw the result.
I saw the result.
But I would like to say it out loud. It was Brighton 4. Brighton 4, Spurs 2.
We're 4-0 up as well.
They were 4-0 up, and then they sort of, I think they just gave Spurs 2, didn't they? They're like, oh, we'll make them feel a bit better.
But there was one thing in the game that did happen. Lewis Dunk, should he have been sent off?
Probably.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
In this day and age.
I'm glad he wasn't.
The game, because it was.
You know, it helped Brighton. Yeah. But I genuinely do think he probably... Did you watch the game, sir? You didn't watch it. He probably should have walked, to be fair. I mean, it wasn't like assault.
It didn't seem like they really talked about it, even though the commentary team kind of did. VAR kind of ignored
Yeah, I'd agree.
ignored that challenge.
It was really quite strange.
Yeah.
That they just sort of glossed over it. But yeah, I think it probably should have been a red.
Personal viewpoint is, I don't think he really did anything. He went and kicked the ball, he followed through, he got the player.
But nowadays,
yeah,
generally it is given.
It is given.
And, you know, you can't. This is what the problem is. I personally, genuinely, I think we've had more errors in the Premier League since VAR's come into play. I think we've had more mistakes than when the refs just used to ref the games themselves.
Because if there was no VAR, they wouldn't even talk about that challenge being a red card. But because there is VAR, they're like, why wasn't that a red card?
I'm just not a fan of VAR, and I wish it would go away, but unfortunately, it's here to stay.
And here's me wanting VAR in the Championship.
And
we will get on to that because I know that you're dying to give us your happy tales from today.
No, I'm just saying there's just two conflicting points, and it's where one's gone in favour and one's gone against. In the
and I understand that, and I get why you want. I get why you want VAR in the Championship.
I'm just saying, there's a lot. It's happened a lot this season, and yeah,
I think VAR should stay out of Championship.
I can absolutely guarantee there's not a Wolves fan on the planet that wants VAR to remain in place because they've been battered this season. We had Arsenal lost 2-0 to West Ham, and the next game was Brentford 1. So Arsenal got beat 2-0 by West Ham. And Arsenal had 30 shots, which is the joint most, I believe, in the Premier League. So we've had the joint most shots in a game. We've had 77 touches in the opposing area, which is the most in a Premier League game ever
without scoring a goal.
Like I said last week,
we had 8 shots on target.
Yeah, right? Like I said last week, you've got no strikers for shit. You've got nothing. Nobody wants to step up and actually have a shot or put an effort in. It's just it's almost like that annoying. I mean, Christ, this is like a Wenger thing. So, I mean, did any of you watch the IT crowd? We're talking like 2005 and stuff. They even made a joke on the IT crowd about the problem with Arsenal is they always try to walk it into the net. Nearly 20 years later, we still have the same problem. Walking it into the net and passing it around in the box does fuck all.
It's really annoying.
Yeah, now you see really that game to me is when they were losing that game. And they're making changes, and I go, okay, who are they bringing on? And they're bringing on Nketiah and Reece Nelson, and I think to myself, wow, that's not good substitution. There's no depth, there's no world class quality coming off the bench. The top teams do, like Man City today. They could have brought De Bruyne off the bench because he's back from injury. You know what I mean? They've got world class players coming off the bench to.
I just want to point out on that whole injury thing. What makes me laugh at the moment is everyone's flying high on the whole, Villa and Liverpool at the top. Man City are about to hit that January-March period. At the moment, Haaland is injured. He's been out for 4 weeks now.
Yeah,
he's still the Premier League's top goal scorer.
Yeah. So you just made a comment then where you said Liverpool and Villa are top. Now. This is what infuriated me. Listening to TalkSport on the way, Gabby Agbonlahor going, we're joint top of the league, we're joint top of the league. No, you're not, you're second. You know why you're second? Because if the league ended right now, you finished second and Liverpool have won the league. So you're not joint top, you are second.
He is from Birmingham.
You do realise that guy is so much of a dribbler, I'm surprised he can even tie his own laces.
So I'm sorry, Villa, you're doing well.
Really
well done, you're doing well. But you're not top of the league, you're second.
You seem quite irate about that.
Yeah, you're second. Really. There's no joint top.
Okay.
Nobody ever joint wins the league, do they? There's first and second.
Do you reckon they might be second?
I reckon them.
I was thinking they might be second.
It doesn't bother me that they're second. It's Gabby Agbonlahor going, we're joint top of the league.
I'll tell you what, it's not even that annoys me. It's just the fact that he's been given the position of a pundit.
I'm going to clip that and literally tag Gabby on Twitter.
Oh, good.
And go, this is what our Saints fan thinks of you.
Yeah. I'm probably still angry at him for scoring goals at St Mary's and ruin one of my trips down there.
I'm not going to have that. I'm going to put no context on it at all. I'm just going to have you slagging at Gabby Agbonlahor because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea? Well, I don't know if you know off the top of your heads, but I'm hoping you don't, so it's just a guess. We're 19 games into the season. Arsenal. I know Villa have played 20.
Yeah.
We're 19 games into the season. Do you know who our top scorer is? Any ideas?
I'm going to go with Saka.
You're right.
I'm going to go with Saka as well.
Do you know? Do you know how many goals he's got?
6.
You both think 6.
Yeah.
Right. 19 games into the season, our top scorer's got 5 goals.
Oh, close.
5 goals after 19 games.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not a top scorer. He's not even a striker. He's a winger.
Well, you
Our
established
striker. Do you want to have a guess how many our strikers got? Striker has got
4.
You're close. Well, you're both the same out there. He's got 3.
It won that in one game.
4.
I thought he got a hat trick.
I think he might.
Did Nketiah get a hat trick?
Nketiah got a hat trick, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's got 4. I think.
So that's your striker. So he's got 4. So
he's not really a striker, though, is he? He's
you
more
said
of
he was a striker last week.
Well, he's a striker. He's not. He's just, I suppose he's a striker. He's just not a good one.
Yeah.
Okay,
you called him a striker.
He is a striker.
In our debate last week, you called him
if anything, he's actually more of an out-and-out
saying.
striker than Jesus.
Yeah, because he plays. I wish he was, but he plays more like Ian Wright than Jesus does. He just stands there and just wants to shoot a goal. But that's what we need right now. But we need someone that can also hit the target. Like, I don't know, Ollie Watkins, who we could have signed in the summer, had we not bought Flappy Bird instead. Why don't ruin,
you know what?
ruin your season?
He should have had a penalty though.
He should have had a penalty. I agree
in that game as well.
Yeah, I
that
agree
was
with
one
you
of the
completely.
Talking of penalties, how good was that save?
We're all the game's already gone.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but in that game, Raya did pretty much nothing wrong. I actually thought he was really good at it. Sorry.
I think he's got something to say about the first goal.
Yeah, but I'm
I don't see it. I don't
see it. I think
anything.
he's literally.
I think his
thought it was
positioning was well.
No, I genuinely think you're finding things for the sake of finding things.
I would agree with you.
The ball comes across, he moves in,
Too far.
follows it. No, he's not. He's covered his post. The ball comes back across, and it just goes between his hands. He's done nothing wrong.
Did the ball go out of play?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it went out of
I'm
play.
sorry,
as well.
but when you've got a picture of a guy's thigh and you can see the whole line behind the thigh, but you can't see the ball.
It's
That was the only thing. Because they're going, well, you can't see the ball, so we can't be sure. Well, if his thigh is over the line and the ball can't be seen because of the thigh, the ball
it can't be over. Yeah.
What bugs me the most, right, is they can't get the right shot.
Yeah.
But they've got an overhead camera that's on them lines that they can move at the speed of light. So that could follow the ball quite easily across it. So they can get a perfect overhead shot.
Wasn't it Henry who actually said that, though?
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, Henry actually said
imagine
something about, surely we can get something looking down.
You can. You've got a camera at the top, haven't you, on the line?
It's almost like they
The
didn't
thing
want
is, though,
to.
is when Paqueta's lying there injured, there's a perfect overhead shot of that, of him being tackled, going down, and then receiving treatment, and there's literally directly over his head. There's a shot of it. Why does that not just follow the ball?
It's almost like they don't want it.
They want VAR, which is a bag of crap, though, don't they?
Yeah.
It's just annoying. But yeah, honestly, I think West Ham deserved the win, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
don't.
don't think
Superb.
Arsenal played well. Yes, they had 30 shots. That doesn't mean they played well. West Ham sat back because they knew what they were doing and they had a good game plan. They played it well and they deserved the win, which, to be honest, I find more annoying.
Yeah.
Is the fact that we played West Ham and we deserve to lose. I find that
Yeah.
more annoying because our one-dimensional, pointless, useless fucking manager should have a plan B, and he has not got one.
No.
And for me, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it every fucking week until we replace him, we will not win anything under Arteta. He's too one-dimensional. He's too predictable. He doesn't play the right players in the right positions. Zinchenko, he was at fault against Salah's goal when we played Liverpool. He was at fault for West Ham's second goal. He's been at fault for, I think, 2 weeks before Liverpool. He was at fault for the goal then. Why would you not just go, it's not working, mate. We're going to need somebody else. Tommy Assen,
If he was
quality fullback.
If he was that good, Man City wouldn't have sold him.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
with
as Jesus.
If they were absolute quality, they wouldn't have got rid of him. Why do you think
No.
Rodri's still there? There was all talk of Rodri going. He's now one of their main players. Because City know, like Guardiola knows, we need to keep hold of this guy. It's really hot in here. I'm not going to lie. I'm absolutely cooking.
You can turn it off.
I think we need to flick that off. The white plug. Oh, thank God for that.
And
it's so hot in here. People have got no idea, right? It's cold outside.
Yeah.
But I did a podcast earlier with Zach, which will be available on Patreon. And we've been in here for well over an hour now, and that has not been off, and it is absolutely roasting in here. Sorry, I had to just pull it off because I was dying in the heat.
But have you also heard that you might not be signing a striker because you've got to make significant sales because you spent big in the summer to enable a striker being signed? And for me, that basically says you're not going to win the Premier League this year.
I could give you a list of 8 players that we could sell to make money.
And I bet Smith Rowe ain't one of them.
Smith Rowe is not one of them.
And you know what? There's a lot of rumours about him going out.
He will go. But so will Ramsdale. Neither one of them should go. Raya should be sent back. I'd make him walk back to Brentford. I wouldn't even give him a car. I'd make him walk. I'd take his wallet off him and I'd make him walk. Speaking of Brentford, they got beat 4-1 by Wolves. That was not a good result for Brentford. No. And to be honest, not one I would have come anywhere near predicting.
Wolves are looking good.
They look so good. The thing was, wasn't it like 4 goals in like 13 minutes, 17 minutes or something stupid?
It was something crazy, wasn't it? They scored quick fire goals.
Well, I think Brentford are in danger of one of the teams that could potentially go down.
Get dragged down. I mean,
more reasons for that will come up in the second half for why Brentford, because we'll go into a few bits that we'll talk about. But Brentford lost again today to Crystal Palace, who were another team that I think are in trouble of getting sucked in that battle, because I honestly believe that Luton could be the one team that may get themselves out of trouble. And there's,
I would agree. I mean, look at them today. They're 3-2 against Chelsea. They put up a good fight again. Again, they don't give up.
15 minutes. They had a goal disallowed. They hit the post or crossbar twice. They scored 2 goals and they just went on the onslaught. And that brings me on to Chelsea. Obviously, they lost to Wolves at the very beginning of the festive period, 2-1. And we just mentioned Wolves are doing well. Chelsea, away form versus home form. So Chelsea away, not very good. They're losing a lot of games away from home. But at home, they're building some good results up at home. They seem to be winning at home. We'll go into that soon.
We'll definitely go into that.
But yeah, and like Chelsea were away at Luton today, and in all fairness, they only just went away with the win against Luton because Luton were superb in the last 15 minutes. It's just a shame we left it so late.
Such a good team, Luton are not. Honestly, I really hope they survive because I'd love to see them survive and then carry on another season, just see how they get on. Just because their fight and their determination that they show every week is just amazing, especially at home.
Yeah, because the other game that they played was against Sheffield United, where they went 1-up against Sheffield United. Sheffield United scored 2 goals, so they were 2-up. And then Sheffield United decided to help Luton out by scoring 2 goals again.
Yeah, in their own net. 2 own goals, wasn't it? It was,
but again, another Luton fight and defensive errors costing Sheffield United. And with them on 9 points so far, 2 wins and 3 draws, they're halfway through, like we said, 19 games. So they're only going to get, if they did that again in the second half of the season, they're only going to get 18 points. So that's relying on Everton and Forest not getting another win.
I think they will get more points in the second half of the season.
Do you?
Oh, 100%.
If they sign the player that they've been linked with, I think it's a fantastic.
Who have they been linked with?
Bobby Firmino.
I wasn't expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
You weren't expecting that link?
No,
I think he would be fantastic. But the problem I see with Sheffield United is, can they score more goals than they concede?
Where did he go after he left Liverpool? Where is he?
Obviously, guess where a player like him would have ended up.
Bobby Firmino?
If we talk money.
Oh, Saudi.
Yeah, there you go.
Should have known, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Should have known. Right, we had Everton 1, City 3.
Yeah. 1-up at half-time, Everton, I think it was.
They went 1-up, didn't they? I don't know if they were 1-up at half-time, but I know they went 1-up.
Yeah.
Honestly, they looked good for it. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it.
They looked all right for it. Like, they weren't absolutely battered.
Seen the highlights.
and then they come out in the second half and look like every player had got dementia. It all just crumbled.
It was literally like two teams.
Oh, Zacky's just showing me the. Oh yeah, it was 1-0 at half time, and Foden scored in the 53rd minute.
Penalty was harsh. I thought it kind of rolled up his body and it his arm. I thought, and it's close range again, and I'm kind of like, you see him giving them and you see him not giving.
Yeah,
depending on what team.
I think all this. I mean, clear and obvious error, right? There's nothing clear and obvious about any decision that's made by VAR. So I think the fact that they use the wording clear and obvious is an absolute joke. And handball, for me, some of the decisions have been absolutely outrageous. Ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you've got guys that are like a yard away from somebody, and you've got, say, the likes of Saka or Martinelli blasting the ball, and it's the penalty. You try and get your hand out of the way of that. But even if they tried to move, they've got no chance.
Yeah.
Do you think they want to break their fingers? Because
don't get me wrong, if your hands are out like a goalkeeper,
if you're closing them down like Schmeichel would years ago, fair enough, give the handball.
Yeah.
But if your hand's like down by your side, your hand is curled underneath your wrist, you're not looking to save the ball. The ball is just hitting you.
You know, your arm's slightly out that way and you're moving.
The whole arm behind the back.
I find that irritating.
I know they have one player that reminds me of that. David Luiz.
How is that a natural position for a defender?
It's not, but that's the world we're in now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You'll remember him from us. David Luiz used to do it. Hands behind the back defending.
Yeah, he used to love scoring own goals as well, from what I remember from his time at Arsenal. Maybe if you look less like Sideshow Bob, he'd play more like a footballer.
So I think that brings us on to Man United Villa, I think.
I don't know whether I was going to mention the thing as we were talking about Everton anyway.
Yeah, you can do.
Bring it up now, and then talk about it more later, or right. At this point in the week's events, we have had a week event from Jim Jam himself.
Yeah,
James has volunteered a giveaway for us, so we've got Jim Jam to thank for that.
So now, it is a signed Everton shirt from 2012. Away shirt it's the yellow one, and it does have a certificate of authenticity.
Brilliant.
To make sure that it is 100% legit, which will be provided.
That's what we like. Now, what we're asking people to do in order to be in with a chance of winning the shirt is to go to YouTube and type in Sunday League Pundits Show. Find us. Our logo is purple, Sunday League Pundits Show, and it's got 2 footballs. And if you find that, if you subscribe and comment, I will explain about this actually, because I was always unsure on YouTube why people were so insistent on saying you need to like, subscribe, and comment. I'm like, why do you have to comment? I don't understand. Now I understand, because I went onto YouTube the other day and I tried to check all our followers. Now we have currently 35 subscribers. I can only see 9 of them in the list. Because on YouTube, most people, when they set their YouTube up, say, we don't want to be recognised anywhere. We don't want our name put out anywhere. Mm-hmm. So it blocks their name when they're following you.
Okay.
So now why people say like, subscribe, and comment, obviously people like the likes and the subscriptions, which is why we're asking you to do that as well. We would like you to like all the videos that it's mentioned in and subscribe to us, because once we've reached 250 subscribers, we will do a live draw right here during the podcast. We'll do a live draw. We'll put it out as it is. We'll let you know exactly what time it will be. And the reason we want you to comment #Everton shirt is your name will appear if you comment underneath a YouTube video. Yeah. If you just subscribe and your name's hidden, we won't know who you are. And
lots of comments. I'm only here for the Everton shirt.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm only here for that #Everton shirt. As long as you put #Everton shirt, when I put in #Everton shirt in the search bar, your message will come up. Your name will be in the options, and that's fine. If you want to subscribe afterwards, that's up to you. Personally, I don't think you will, because the pod's fabulous. But then that's up to you. So yeah, if you head over to YouTube, Sunday League Pundit Show, like the video, subscribe to us, and just comment whatever you like. But as long as it adds #Everton shirt, we'll know to add you into the draw, and we'll do a live draw as soon as we hit 250. I realise 250 is quite optimistic for a small pod like us, but
dream big.
Why not? Why not? You've got to have a goal, haven't you? Currently, mine is 250. I don't know about yours. I did say 500 initially, and then I sat there and thought, you are absolutely insane.
What are you smoking?
I'm not sure what I'd injected that morning, but it wasn't working. So I've gone for 250. I think that's okay. I think that's fine. It is going to be UK only at this point because we're not really big enough to be shipping after Saudi, and besides, you can afford your own anyway. So what we're going to do is, if you just head over to YouTube, like, subscribe, and leave a comment, hashtag Everton shirt, you'll be in the draw, and we'll do a live draw for you. So I just thought I'd mention that. So thank you, James, for
that. No problem.
We had Newcastle versus Forest, which I genuinely thought Newcastle were going to win, and win quite comfortably, even with all the injuries that they've got and all the problems that they've got.
So.
And it turns out I was very, very wrong because Chris Wood had other ideas. Did you watch the game?
Yep.
Have you seen his goals then?
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't realise Chris Wood had some of them finishes in him. Because some of them finishes were outstanding. That second one in particular, where he just lifted it over the keeper.
Yeah.
You know what? This is how like literally people don't like view him. We were having a debate about 2 years ago about how good Mitrovic was in the Premiership, and they say he's shocking. He's great in the Championship, shocking in the Premiership. Mm. And the person who was arguing with me said like, and I said, Chris Wood's better than him. No, he isn't. And then we got the stats up. Chris Wood was way better than Mitrovic in the Premier League. But Chris Wood it's like he almost gets like overlooked.
Yeah.
People don't give him the credit he's due. I mean,
I'll be honest, I'm one of them.
I was devastated when he left Leeds. He is such a good player. And I won't lie, his Premiership record is a lot better than everybody gives it credit for.
Yeah.
I will openly admit I underestimated him big time.
Very good player. Very good.
And after some of the goals he scored, watched him very, very closely. He is a very, very good striker. And I did underestimate him, and I didn't realise how good the guy actually was or is. Credit where it's due, Chris Wood. Hey.
I mean, you got to think, we sold him in the Championship about 7 years ago for 20 million.
That's a lot as well, isn't it, really?
So think about that. That's how good he was.
Yeah, it just goes to show that sometimes I can be wrong.
Yeah.
Not about Raya. Sheffield United Luton, we have spoken about that one, and fair play to Luton. We love you, and we'd love you to survive because we just love you. I think it's great.
Man United Villa.
Man United Villa. That
game of two halves.
Literally the definition of a game of two halves, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because United were two different teams. I'm not sure who took over them United players at half time. But that was different gravy in the second half because they come out in the first half and they were awful. Like Villa walked that first half, and they'll be annoyed now that they didn't score more than two because they just battered them. I'd had a couple of good chances in the first half, but they never looked like scoring them. They didn't look confident enough. They didn't look brave enough. They didn't look like they wanted it. Not bothered. Come out in the second half. Now I've seen a lot of comments before that game, albeit Garnacho's not good enough, waste of space, pointless fucking strike. And I'm thinking, from what I've seen of Garnacho, I actually think he's quite good. Yeah. But he hasn't scored too many, and he's not really put himself too about.
Many, but did score probably the best goal in the Premiership's ever seen.
That was a great goal. That was a great goal. Somebody said, I made that comment the other day, and somebody said, "What about Trevor Sinclair's?" That wasn't in the Premier League. Wasn't that an FA Cup game?
I think it was, yeah. The one outside the area.
And they went, well, it's the same thing. It's a different fucking competition altogether. It's like nearly the same thing. But I agree with you. It was an absolutely amazing goal. Was it the best we've ever seen?
No.
I don't know.
I couldn't judge what the best is.
I think again, this is very
it depends what your idea of a great goal.
For example,
me personally, I love David Beckham's against Wimbledon because it was just a pure cheek that nobody had done it before in the Premier League. Nobody had looked at lobbing a keeper from inside your own half. But as a pointless, shy Sunday League striker, I used to try that quite a bit. And they're the goals that if you can pull them off, They are so enjoyable when you hit one of them.
I'll tell you a story because obviously my favourite player is Matt Letizia. So I'll talk about the game.
Really?
Blackburn Rovers. So he's playing.
Are you on about the
Tim
P roller?
Flowers. No, not the P roller. So he said to Tim Flowers, "I'm going to lob you. And I'm going to hit your towel." So what happens is, obviously, he's playing that game. He lobs him, and it hits the towel, and you see him pointing at Tim Flowers, going, basically, say, "I hit your towel," kind of thing.
Now, I want to get that clip, and obviously I can't put it on YouTube. Apologies for that, but it will be on Patreon.
Yeah.
But I want to get that because I remember the goal.
Yeah.
And I remember him pointing.
Yeah.
But I don't, obviously, because I didn't know the story about the towel. Now that you know the story
about the towel, you'll see it hit the towel. Next time you see that goal, you'll see it hit the towel. I'm going to have to have a look for that clip now, because the goal was phenomenal. I don't know if it looked like he was passing the ball.
Yeah,
because he put that little effort into it, and it just went and glided over. Right?
The thing is, though, like you say, it's a when, like, for example, I'm going to go from the goalkeeper perspective. When people say, like, "Oh, the best saves ever," a lot of people who don't know anything about goalkeeping always go for, like, your top corners or your really fancy saves. Like, for example, I'm going to use one when Ramsdale made that free kick save. It's in the middle of his goal and he sort of flaps at it and it hits. You know what I'm on about? And everyone's on about it's a world class save. Not really. It was okay. It was a good save. It wasn't world class. And it's like the perspective of what you see as the best saves ever is completely varied on your perspective of what it is. For example, something that's someone's flying through the air and they tip it over, it looks really good for the cameras. It is a great feat of agility.
They're generally easier to save.
But if you can get your footing right, you see the ball come in, it's easier to move your body over rather than something coming through someone's legs. It's in that position where it's hard to get your body to, and then you manage to get your body down to it.
Playing a position gives you so much of a different perspective.
Like, I'm going to use Ipswich goalkeeper, for example, the Leeds' first goal. That header from Pirro comes over and he gets his body down really well and he hooks it away. He's unfortunate that it goes straight to Stroud and Stroud puts it in the back of the net. But the save was actually legitimately brilliant.
Yeah,
he's got less than 6 yards to adjust himself, get himself into that awkward position, because it is an awkward position. It's low, it's close to him. They're the hard ones.
Yeah.
And it's a great save. But people won't look at that and go, it's great because he wasn't flying through the air.
No, I think the best saves are the fingertip saves at point blank range. Because it is pure reactions.
Yeah.
I mean, even, and I say fingertips, I mean, you can include like the Hayes when he made his stop with his foot. I think it was against Liverpool, it was. Arsenal.
Yes.
I love the no.
I couldn't remember it was against.
It was a double save.
Yeah.
And it was very annoying.
Yeah.
And we were losing.
So it doesn't necessarily always have to be with your hands to make a world class save.
Appreciate that.
Who was it? De Gea made a sim save where the ball's headed at him, and he's like literally within it's like closer to me in stretch, and he palms it over. And
I don't know who it was against, but I remember the save. I remember thinking at the time, I'm like, wow, that was...
Because he's literally impressive. 2 feet. And the header comes in at its rate of knots, and he just gets his hands up and pushes it over. How much he knew about that is probably limited. But it's the reactions, the training, everything that's gone into it. It makes it such a good save. Tim Howard did one in...
America?
Yeah. Was it the World Cup?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And it's smashed at him from 2 feet, goes... through a player, and then he still managed to set.
Yeah, I remember what you're about. Yeah, that was a great stop.
Yeah, but people don't look at that.
Yeah, but the thing is like, I think unless you've played a position competitively, you can't appreciate it properly. Because I've seen a lot of people, like our mate Dave Phillips, for example, you go pissing about with him on a pitch and you're doing heads and volleys or something, he makes some amazing saves, flinging himself about left, right and centre, tipping it. You get him in a game situation, he struggles because he doesn't know the position, he doesn't know where he's standing, overthinks everything. So if you get somebody in a competitive situation, I'm quite lucky because over the years, the only position I haven't played is left back. I played everywhere else on the pitch. So
you fill the space there, doesn't you?
The right back one I'll give you was a bit hit and miss, given that I actually spent more time in their half and scored a hat-trick. So I technically wasn't really a right back at the time. But it does give you a different perspective. As a goalkeeper, I have played goalkeeper competitively and quite a high level when I was younger. So I can appreciate goalkeeping and being a goalkeeper and how hard certain things are. And there are times where you're watching a game with someone like, oh, yeah. And I'll sort of react to a second, no, that was amazing. And the people next to you just sort of sat there looking at it and you're like, how can you not appreciate how good that was? And then you realise, oh, well, I suppose if you've never done it, you don't really appreciate what went into it. But there you go. That's the thing about playing certain positions, isn't it? I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break now because we are
running over.
Yeah, we're hitting that time. We can always go into more in the second half. Not a problem at all. So we're going to take a quick break and welcome back from the break. Just had a bit of a chat this time, really.
Yeah,
nothing too entertaining.
Nothing entertaining this week.
It was quite boring, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody got it.
Somewhat could have gone wrong. Right, what I want to do is start part 2 with our predictions.
Yeah.
So the games that we guessed on, because we've also got Daryl and Jay that are in with it as well.
Yeah.
So we decided to go for Arsenal West Ham,
which we spoke about the game already.
Which we have spoken about the game. West Ham obviously won 2-0. Nobody guessed that. Me, Tim, Jim, and Jay all went for an Arsenal win. Daryl was closest because he went for 2-2. And you'd actually were on for a bonus point because you said Rice to score and not celebrate. Obviously, it didn't happen because Arsenal.
He was playing for West Ham, wasn't he?
Half a yard.
West Ham fans were singing his name when he gave a penalty.
Yeah, which finally Raya actually saved something then.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but the keeper gives it away.
So nobody got any points on that one, Arsenal West Ham. We then got, which we all did miserably on again.
Yeah.
Preston v Leeds. All of us had Leeds down to win that, so thanks for being shy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking at you, Tinrid, because you're the Leeds fan. Thanks for being shy.
What have you got to say about that game?
Yeah, what have you got? Defend yourself for supporting shite.
So, you watched the second half?
I did watch the second half.
After I made some comments?
Yes.
Would you say that the referee was particularly good?
No.
Would you say that Preston played a particularly good brand of football?
No.
So would you agree that when I say when we play shit teams who like to kick people about and can't really play football, we come undone?
They were shit.
But did you also notice that the second you touched their players, they went down like a fucking sack of bricks? And,
do you know what? I did want to point something out for this game. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, go on.
But there was a point where Meslier was involved in nothing at all, really. The striker had come up to him and Meslier just sort of put his hand out. And yes, it went in his face. And probably should have been a red because he lifted his hand up.
Yeah.
Right, now, there, Chijic or whatever his freaking name is, the guy that come over to Meslier, acting all big and hard and pushed him, right, and he got touched and went down like he'd been battered by a bear.
But then he's laughing on the floor.
But how much of a twat does that guy look?
Yeah, but the problem is, this is the world we've created. They are happy to go in hard on people, not kick people around. The ref does fuck all. But then the second they get the slightest touch and play act on it and lie there laughing, oh, it's a red card, it changes the game. It's just cheating. It's just outright cheating. And the fact that we allow this to go because it's it's just shit. So,
I actually have to agree with him on that.
So don't get me wrong, the 2 goals they scored, well done. They were great goals.
I would like to point out that your second one was horrific defending by your right.
Oh, no, it was. Yeah.
Literally just let him walk.
No,
even I could see what the guy was going to do. He was going to get the ball, come inside onto his right, and your right back sort of moved towards to stop him going onto his left. Yeah. But you know he's right-footed. I knew he was right-footed.
I'm going to defend Archie a little bit in that because you got to remember he's 17-year-old kid, midfielder. He's playing out.
Let's go back to our conversation that I don't think we've had on the pod, where I want Arsenal to buy him because I want him as our DM.
No, but that's what I mean.
I think he's a fantastic.
Exactly, he's a good midfielder,
and he shouldn't be a right back. You've got some issues, and you need him.
Agreed, but that's
Byron was being lazy or whatever, and couldn't be able to play in there.
But no, but you see the point, and I don't. It was his mistake. I'm not going to.
I get why you're defending him. He's very, very young, and he was out of position. But it was shocking.
It was his fault that the guy got into position.
But the finish wasn't.
The finish was unbelievable, and it's like I had an argument on Facebook with some absolute clown who's like, "Oh, and Darlow's now our number one." But he did nothing wrong at any point in that game from Darlow coming on. Did he do anything wrong?
I think he did pretty well, actually, from what he could.
He came out and gathered that one where he had to dive into the player. He didn't do anything wrong, and he certainly was not stopping that second goal. But as soon as I said
it was a decent finish. When it was it was a decent.
But unfortunately, at the moment, I hate to say, I'm in so many Leeds fan forums that I just don't want to be. I don't want to be involved with them anymore because they're starting to sound like Mag fans and scum fans.
I've actually left.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Get in. Sorry to interrupt. Forest have just gone 2-1 up against Man United. Fantastic. We are watching it live, and we were all watching it because it looked good. And to be fair, it's a local lad, Gibbs White, that scored the goal, so it makes it even better.
That's good. But yeah, so they beat us. Would I say they were the better team? No. Would I say they were dirty, underhanded, and cheating? Yes. Did they get away with it? Yes. We lost. Oh well.
And it made sure that none of us got any points. So if you are listening, Leeds, fuck you! Work harder! Even though they are kicking lumps out of you, which, to be fair, they really were. I will defend you on that, though. It wasn't a great game.
But like I say, it just seemed one-sided. We touch them, they go down, it's a free kick. They kick lumps out of the Leeds players. I'll just play on. In a bit.
That hasn't actually happened yet. So we've got a game which is Arsenal-Fulham, but I'll add that score on next time. We also...
I finished! I hadn't seen it. I'm sorry.
That's the same goal. That's the same goal.
That's the same goal we celebrated.
Sorry. Because I got my back to the TV.
Whilst Tim was talking about the Leeds game, we saw the goal. He did not.
Mate,
he's just seen a replay of it, and it was a great finish. And Onana, for once, was not to blame. So we went.
Sorry, I do apologise, but I didn't see it because I got my back.
So far, we've done 2 games, and everybody is on 0 points. So we've done really well.
This is good.
So we went on for West Brom versus Leeds. I know you're really happy with that game as well.
Oh yeah, what a great ref!
You love the way it was refed.
We get.
And
I mean, I just want to point out that for 2 games in a row, we've had
before we get into this, I would like to point out that West Brom beat Leeds 1-0. Yeah. So if anyone's in any doubt, I had it down as a draw. Tin, Jim had it down as a Leeds win. Darryl actually had it down as 2-0 to West Brom, and I quote in his email, "Just to piss Tin Ribs off." That was literally what his email said. I'm going to go for a West Brom win, 2-0, just to piss Tin Ribs off. So I've made a note.
Fantastic.
For that. So
what a prick.
Darryl just wanted to piss you off.
I just want to point out, I'm glad that right now, Blackburn couldn't buy a fucking win if they threw a lot of money.
I'd like to point out that him just wanting to piss you off means he's the only person with a point in 3 games. So fair play to you, Darryl. Well done. I salute you for wanting to piss Tin Ribs off.
I'm very happy about the Leeds games.
We could not be further away from the guess with Southampton v Swansea, which I'd like to point out actually finished Southampton 5, Swansea 0. And you'll be shocked to know that nobody got that right. We got the result right, but we didn't get the score right.
I didn't get the result right because I thought it was going to be the one that we were going to get undone.
The only person not to get any points from Southampton smashing Swansea was the Saint.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy with my points.
Well, imagine you are.
I will happily lose this one.
So he did say that at the time, didn't he? But I would like to say that I got it down as 2-1 Saints. You got it down as a 1-0. Darryl had it down as a 2-0. Again, closest one. I'm not sure if we want to kick him out of this because he's doing far better than we are. And Jay had it down also as a 1-0. So we all get 1 point apart from you, who's now left behind. So I can't wait to see you in a Portsmouth shirt just because you're happy about your fucking win.
I was a point ahead last.
Well, you're not going to be this time.
In the league table. So all you've done is caught up.
You're scraping now. You're scraping. Southampton, Plymouth. I actually had the score right. Just the wrong way round because Southampton won 2-1 and I had that down. Because
so you're now back bottom of the league again now?
Me, I'm probably well at the bottom at the moment. Yeah. I think I have ended it up actually then. I had it down as 2-1 Plymouth, so I get no points. Tin had it down as 3-0 Saints. Jim 4-0. Darryl 3-1 again, the closest one out of everybody. Although no, he's equal with Jay. Jay had it down as 2-all, so he was only 1 goal out as well. But Tin Ribs, Jim, and Darryl all get 1 point for that game.
I just want to point out on my rant about shit refereeing. The only reason that the Saints won was because of shit refereeing with a legitimate onside goal. Onside ruled out. So you're talking
Assistant
to me about
referee.
I don't give a shit. Refereeing team. The fact of the matter is, we were on about, would we like VAR? VAR would have kept the goal, and VAR would have ruled a penalty. I'm just saying, we have had so many shit decisions where I'm going, VAR.
Would VAR have done that? Because you realise how shit VAR's been in its.
The guy was onside by a good half a metre.
Right, I haven't actually had the scores up, so we're going to have to do it now.
But no, it was blatantly, he was onside. Yeah. And I'll perfectly say we got lucky on that one.
Yeah.
But in a game where, again, we had 26 shots, 78% possession. We went out there, and you could term it that we went into that game to kill off the game. The only problem is we weren't using a knife to score goals. We were using like my four-month-old daughter's weaning spoon to try kill the game off, which isn't going to work. So
some audacious attempts like that long.
That was close.
It was great.
So we talk about that.
I did enjoy their goal though.
I will.
Oh yeah. I mean, bad goalkeeping, but I thought the back pass was pretty bad as well.
I just think you should have got rid of it rather than try and
unnecessary pressure.
But yeah, it was. Like I say, it's just terrible goal, terrible officiating.
But we've ended up with this. This year's game's done now. We started off. I think it was 12 points behind. On the 16th of December, we were 12 points behind Ipswich. So now we are in third place, 3 points behind Ipswich and 6 points ahead of Leeds.
This is what we were saying.
And this is how
the Championship can swap around. Yeah, because we were saying this in stretch. Didn't understand, like when we say the Championship can swap around within games, within a few games. Like for example, now.
To be fair, the more I'm watching, and I am watching more obviously because of you two and because of the pod. Yeah. The podcast is what has not forced me, but made me really want to concentrate on your two teams, which obviously now is in turn making me concentrate on the Championship. And you do see how quickly you can go from even like teams in 18th, but like I'll look a couple of weeks later in 8th.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus Christ, that was quick. It's just a couple of results and you fly up the league.
I mean, 6 points now for Leeds.
There's a huge difference
that's now a mountain for you.
But I will
not a big mountain.
I will say, as someone that's not really bothered, obviously I'd like your teams to do well, but I'm not emotionally invested in either one of them. I will say I do think you've been hard done by recently. Yeah. I genuinely think Leeds have been quite hard done by. I haven't seen all of your football, so I don't know about the result.
Like you say, should have had a penalty, but Daniel Farke did come out at the end of the game saying he was disappointed that Gnotto went down easily and he didn't stay on his feet as well because he felt like he was 1-on-1 and he went down, didn't get a penalty. He seemed to be like, why didn't he take a shot away?
Yeah.
Now we talk about Che Adams' second goal in the Plymouth game. It was foul. He actually had him hooked. He was pulling him back, and Adams finished off the chance while being pulled backwards. So it should have been a penalty, but he scored a goal anyway. And maybe perhaps he could have tried taking it.
There's a bit of a difference between what Che Adams, 6'1", built like a brick shit house, and a guy half his size trying to yank him over, versus a midget of 5'2".
So what I will say though is you're calling for VAR.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Did you see the time when Jesus was dragged down by his collar in the area? We've got VAR and that wasn't given.
Yeah, true.
We've also had Gabrielli was pushed by Newcastle. I'm convinced he was pushed by Joe Linton. That wasn't given as a foul. So even with VAR, the errors are still made.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sitting here just by its point.
No, I get
I'm not
that.
sitting here saying everything's gone against Arsenal.
We've had a lot of decisions this season.
I can only really give examples of Arsenal games because they're the ones I focus on the most.
But I've watched a lot of decisions that are questionable this season, and a lot of them I've just sort of gone, well, screw it, we won 3-0 or something, so I'm going to ignore them. But the fact of the matter is, there's been a lot of questionable decisions. And one thing I will say is I just think the officiating level in the UK is absolutely shocking.
Who wants to be a referee? Look at the abuse they get.
No,
I'm not surprised if people don't want to do it. The hassle and abuse they get. Unless you're in the top flight, Like, and I imagine they're probably only on. I say only, but I imagine they're only on 200 grand a year. I can't imagine they're on a lot. 150, 200 grand a year. I say only. It's a really good wage, but you're looking at like they're having to go at people that are on £8 million a year and they're on 150 grand a year. They must be looking at going, where's this fucking money gone? Where's all the money? Like, oh, surely I can get a raise. Like, I'm getting abused more than they are.
But on the flip side of the West Brom game, but I've gone back and watched the first half. I watched the second half live. We went out there and West Brom for the first 10 minutes of the second half did try get a second goal, and they were probably the best team for the first 10 minutes of the second half. Then it was all Leeds at that point. But the one thing that did Leeds is they only had one shot on target in the whole game, and that was Somerville in the first half that went at that.
2, 3?
No, they were all blocked. The keeper didn't have to make a save. Yes, because I looked at it.
Tim Lives has now got his phone out.
He's now going to look how many shots on target,
shots blocked,
shots on goal,
saves made,
shots off target, 3 blocks, blocked shots, 9.
That's changed.
Blocked shot, that's a lot.
It was.
That's the one. There, I even sent it you earlier.
That's not on football.
Because what I actually commented underneath was 4 offside, 3 of them were Bamford.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
You did. I'd like to point out, right, we've had 2 weeks of this predictions game. And myself and Alien J are languishing in last place with 3. Tin Ribs is in third with 4 points.
Yeah.
Jim, you are in second with 5 points.
Yep.
And Daryl, who's very consistent, he got 3 points last week, 3 points this week. Daryl is currently leading. And that means, Daryl, if you're listening to this week, mates, that means that you currently have the main say on what I am going to be doing for my punishment, because I'm currently bottom and Alien J's not going to get a punishment because
we don't punish our.
It's not even that we don't punish the armchair pundits. He's not a football fan, so there's literally nothing you could do to him that's going to upset him football-wise. He would wear any shirt you gave him and not give a shit what he was. And it's just not bothered at all. So there you go. So I'm currently losing and I'm going to get it. However, we have got the Fulham game, which all of us have got down as an Arsenal win. It's either 2-0, 3-0 or 3-1, basically, between the 5 of us. They're the results, and we've all got Arsenal down for a win. So I need a direct hit.
We might have changed it after the display against.
To be fair, we've only had 2 weeks, and I'm trying to make myself feel better here, people. Yeah. We've only had 2 weeks, and it's only going to take, I reckon, 2 direct hits to get 3 points for the one match, and it will shoot somebody. It's a bit like the Championship.
Yeah.
A couple of good results, and you'll be flying up there.
Yeah. The thing is, most teams have like a lull period. Oh, can we just say?
Stretch is having a lull period at the
point
start.
Out another thing that I've predicted. Ipswich are falling apart.
Let's quickly talk about, did you see the game against Leicester?
Yes.
Ipswich has got the own goal.
Yeah.
My word, how lucky were they to get a point against Leicester?
Massively lucky.
Leicester should have had a penalty. Yeah. Stonewall penalty.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And their goal, he hit it outside the box. It deflects off one defender, then it goes off, and then the other defender then heads it the opposite way to the keeper. So the keeper's reacted to the first deflection, and then it's gone the other way. So lucky to get a point.
I would like to point out that Matt Turner's just made a better save than Raya will ever make in his life.
Yeah.
And we sold him as well.
But,
Martinez. But yeah, so that is all our predictions done. That is the week's events spoken about. Is there anything you two would like to talk about?
Yeah, so I'll go first into the Old Firm derby today.
Old Firm. For anyone that doesn't know, if you listen to this, I'll be surprised if you don't. That is Celtic v Rangers in Scotland.
So
because they're both old, and I don't know why they call it.
It would be more on the Rangers side. Unfortunately, Rangers did lose today 2-1. But I thought I'd have a look at the starting lineups and stuff. So in the Celtic side, how many Scottish players do you think that were in the Celtic side?
I mean, to be fair, there's not normally quite a lot, is it? Because they used to have Larson and all them sort of players. Yeah. I'm going to go for 5.
Okay. Tim?
Phone boy.
How many Scottish players in the Celtic side do you reckon?
2.
There were 3 Scotsmen in the Celtic side.
3
so,
Scottish.
In the Rangers side, how many Scotsmen in the Rangers side?
I reckon they're more patriotic. I'm going to go for 7.
7?
5.
None in the starting lineup. Not one Scot in the starting lineup for Rangers.
Why are we having to go to Scottish football then if none of them are Scottish?
I mean, they did have 3 on the bench that come on, and 1 Scotsman was injured.
No Scots in a Scottish football team, although Arsenal,
the starting lineup.
Arsenal, I would like to say,
and that made me think: is the Old Firm derby as big as it is for the players? If there's no Scotsman in there, it obviously is for the fans. But when I thought I'm going to have a look at the starting lineup today, and I went, "Wow, no Scotsman in."
That's shocking, isn't it?
There's a lot of Englishmen in the Rangers side.
Arsenal are the only team in Premier League history to, I believe, I haven't checked fully, but I do know Arsenal are the only team to field a team with no Englishmen in it. Which won't surprise you under Wenger's reign, because there's a lot of French. And
so that was just a surprising.
I'm shocked about that, actually, because I thought Scotland were a lot more like homegrown friendly up there. And that shocked me quite a bit.
And an interesting thing is to look up as well, because I showed you guys the goal from a substitute goalkeeper coming on as striker, Rafe versus Arbroath. What a finish, 35 yards out. Check it out. Just look it up. Arbroath goalkeeper scores.
Again, I will add this video onto the Patreon episode, because I don't know if it's going to get blocked to put it on YouTube. But I might clip.
But I showed you the game. I showed you the goal first, and then explained that it was a goalkeeper.
It's a phenomenal goal. What I will do is I will make sure on the clips that I put out. So if you want to follow us on TikTok and Instagram and even Twitter, I will put that clip onto the clip that I do rather than the actual full YouTube video, because the clips for some reason don't get copyrighted and blocked.
Going on the whole Old Firm, just doing a bit of research, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
There's no people don't actually know, but their belief of quite a few different sources say that it originated from matchday commentators describing an early match between the two teams as like 2 old firm friends.
That's where that comes from.
That's way more disappointing than I was hoping it was going to be.
It states it was.
I'd like to point out there's fuck all friendly about it as well.
It's referring to a newspaper from 1904 Scottish Cup final.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No.
You do learn something every day.
So the last thing I was going to bring up is upcoming for pretty much the next round of Premier League fixtures after this one. We've got the African Cup of Nations and the Asia Cup, where some players are going to be leaving their clubs for a small period of time. So I'll go through a few clubs and say who's going to be impacted. So Arsenal, so we'll talk about you. So you're going to be losing 2 players that you're probably not bothered about, El Neni and Partey.
No.
Tommy Asu.
That's going.
Yeah. So you lose 3 players there.
Yeah.
So Brentford, I talked about being in trouble. Now, they're losing 4 players, Godus, Onyeka and Wissa.
Oh, wow.
So, and G. So, they would have lost him, Bramu, but he's injured as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Brentford, they're looking in trouble. I know they're getting Tony back.
That's going to hurt
very soon.
No, they won't, because Arsenal are buying him, so we're good.
So, Chelsea are only losing Nicholas Jackson.
So they're not really losing anything.
Really losing anybody. Palace lose Ayew and Decore, which are probably pretty big players for them, really.
Yeah, I would agree.
Everton only use Gay.
Bit cool.
Yeah. Fulham lose Adama Traore, Bassi and Iwobi, who are all Bassi and Iwobi are playing big parts, so Fulham who are losing a few at the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Liverpool lose Endo and Salah. I think that
nobody cares about Liverpool.
Salah's going to be a big loss for them.
Good.
City, none.
Well, their recruitment's good.
Man United, unfortunately, they're losing Onana.
That's going to improve them, I think.
Yeah. They'll get some... who's there? Some key?
A Turkish bloke, we said, whose name I can't remember.
I tried to pronounce it earlier, and I'm not willing to do it on a podcast.
Yeah.
Because you're going to butcher it.
Oh, 100% I'm going to butcher it.
Yeah. And then they lose Aaron Batt as well, and Diallo, but he doesn't play. Newcastle don't lose any, which is very good for them because they're all injured and suspended.
I was going to say that there's 8 injured and suspended last time I did it, because I said 11, but I had to put a thing on the bottom of it saying 8 injured and suspended because I got it wrong. So
Wolves were on good form. They're losing Huang, which he's been scoring a load of goals.
Superb, he is.
And then Nouri as well. And then 2 more, but they're not in their first team.
Okay.
West Ham lose Aguero, doesn't play, and Kudos.
He's a great player.
Who's been playing well, so they'll miss him.
Yeah,
Spurs.
He ran right against us, Kudos did.
He did. Spurs are losing Basuma, Son, and Sarr, 3 players that have been playing, so
yeah.
I think they're definitely going to miss.
I'm going to enjoy their games over the next couple of weeks.
And then we go back to the team that are losing the most players.
I would like to point out,
Man United today.
They've just beaten Man United 2-1, and the final whistle's just gone.
Probably a good job.
Forest have beat Man United 2-1, and by the looks of the list of the people they're
losing 6 players. They're losing the right back, Aina, who's played 15 times this season.
What's his name?
Aina or something.
I'm glad you got the. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Aurier, they're losing him as well. Who's played 12 games. Bolly, he's played 14 games this season. Kuyate, he's played 10 matches this season. And Kata, I've butchered his name, at the back, he's played 13 games for it. And Sangara as well, who's played 11 games. So they're actually losing 6 players that are playing regularly in their team. That's
over 70 games between 6 players that they're losing.
So, I know Forest bought a lot of players, but I think they needed to move out of Africa.
Especially for the first team.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I just want to point out here, don't Leicester lose about 5 players?
Leicester lose Iniacho, Ndidi, and Daka, which is great. We lose Joe Aribo, who's playing at the moment, so that's going to be a bit of a loss for us. And Sulemana, but he's been out injured for a while, so I'm not too fussed about him because I think he's going to go. And Leeds lose.
Butkiss.
None. Well, it said none earlier.
Yeah. Butkiss.
Yeah. So
that's not so bad then.
So obviously it happens quite regularly. So how do you feel about losing players in a season?
I find it really annoying, but if you don't want to lose players, don't buy from that particular part of the world.
Yeah.
Because you know they're going to go for the AFCON and they're going to go for the Asia Cup. You know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to lose players, don't buy them.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind losing Tomiyasu because I want him. Because when he's at Arsenal, he's superb. And honestly,
and I'm pretty sure that Liverpool want Salah
more time.
I'm sure Spurs want Son.
If somebody said you will lose him every couple of years or every 4 years or whatever it is that comes on
3-4 games
for January, or you can not have him at all, mate. I'd rather have Tomiyasu and lose him for January than not have him at all, because I think he's fantastic. So I understand why people do it, but there's a lot of games in January.
If you know it's going to happen.
We play a lot of games around Christmas and New Year.
Surely Forest realised what they were doing when they were buying these. Like, losing half your starting lineup.
Especially like Forest, 6 and over 70 games between the 6 of them.
I think only 3 of them were playing today, I think it was. So it's not.
I think a lot of it also goes into, like, for example, Son. He's going to be a massive loss to Tottenham because, let's face it, that career going to go far. They're going to do well.
Oh, yeah. So, especially with the likes of Son, because he's a great player.
Yeah. So I think it depends on which nation they're there for.
It could help. I mean, I see Aribo who's just come into our team, and I think to myself, he's going for Nigeria. I think, okay, disappointed he's going, but then I'm glad that he's going to be playing probably 90. I hope he's going
the thing
to
is,
play 90
he could
minutes.
go over there and get man of the match every game.
Yeah.
And then come back and think, I'm king of the castle here. And he could just rip up trees
Yeah.
when he gets back.
Maybe
So
Onana might do that. He might have a dream tournament, build some confidence up.
He's more likely to physically rip a tree up than he is do well.
Or he completely loses his place.
It's,
Because if his replacement comes out and keeps a couple clean sheets, surely he doesn't get back in this.
It's not even keeping clean sheets. His replacement will come in and play better than Onana has done. Because Onana's been shocking.
And then does he get back in the team?
But obviously he will, because he's made all their mistakes and they are schoolboy errors. And he's still in the team. So there's obviously nothing that guy. It's like Raya at Arsenal. There's nothing these guys can do to put their manager off.
No.
Excuse me. But yeah, anyway, we're going to bring it to a close.
Predictions.
I haven't got last.
You haven't done the predictions yet.
We haven't done next week's predictions.
No, we haven't.
No.
Wow. Okay.
So we need to.
Right. The games we've got. What are we going for? Right, we're going for FA Cup special, games, aren't we? We're going to do an FA Cup special. And we've got Saints versus Walsall.
So I'm going to go in. We're going to play a different lineup, and I think players will want to do that. So I'm going to go 3-0 Southampton.
3-0 Southampton for you. I've gone 2-0, by the way. And Jay's gone 3-1 to Southampton.
Yeah.
I will get Daryl's off him shortly.
2-1.
In fact, I think I might even have Daryl's. I haven't written them down. So.
2-1 Southampton.
2-1 to Saints. Arsenal, Liverpool at Arsenal. I've gone for Liverpool 3, Arsenal 0.
Wow, you've actually managed to write that down as well.
Yeah, I got somebody else to buy it. I just can't see us winning because I'm sick of Arteta now at this point.
2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. Jim.
2-1 Liverpool.
2-1. You think we're actually going to hit the back of the net? Right. Which Arsenal you've been watching lately, but and the last one would be Peterborough versus Leeds.
Come back to me, because I want to see what you two think. I've already made up my mind.
I've put 2-0 to Leeds. Jay has messaged me putting 2-0 to Leeds.
I'm going 3-0 Leeds.
You're going 3-0 Leeds. And
1-0 Peterborough.
1-0 Peterborough. That's fake for you. Is that like a reverse psychology thing? Like
no, it's literally we've played 13 away games in a row, and we tend to lose to smaller teams. Rochdale, Hereford.
That's really nice. Peterborough, you were a small team.
Really
small team. Let's make that.
we don't do well on the road in the cup. We just don't have a good history of it.
I hope we've got no Peterborough fans listening that are going to be all offended by Tin Ribs. Because he's already offended the Everton fans, and we've had to get a signed shirt in order to make them feel better.
I will actually say one thing. I really do like Peterborough's owner, and I do like a lot of what Peterborough do. I like their no, seriously. On a complete no. Hang on. They are a little club.
Oh, there we go.
I like their morals. I like their position. I like how they do business. So, and I do think they'll beat us.
No, when you talk about small clubs and stuff like that, somebody say, name a club that's bigger than there are. And some Portsmouth fan comes on going, Southampton think that they're bigger than they are. Hold on. No, Southampton aren't a big club. We're not. We're not a big club. We haven't got that much history going for it. Yeah, we've got people. We haven't got the support like Tim put on the away following statistics. Leeds 98% away following. They've got a massive fan base. They are a bigger club. They are a bigger club. They're not in the greatest league in the world at the moment. But
represent it. That was just sort of me pointing out how. You always hear, we've got the best fan base, we've got the best away fan base, but that was just me showing how good. I mean, even when we were in League One, we were outselling more than Premier League clubs and stuff. we've just got that, like you said, we've got a really good, solid fan
I would like to say
You
people
are
take
a
the piss
big
out of
club.
City for not being able to fill the Etihad, but when they were in the lower leagues, they were filling.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I've seen the stats for the Etihad, and they are filling it.
Yeah, they are. All,
so I don't get this.
Every time I've been, it's full. You know, I think Southampton. It's a decent support when I go to games. Yeah. I enjoy it. You know, we do sell a lot of tickets, more so now that we're winning and stuff. But we're not a big club.
You need context on it, don't you? Because I've been away watching Macclesfield.
I would say
where Macclesfield have had like 400 or 500 fans away.
Yeah,
that's 500, which is nothing when you look at Southampton. But for their level, 500 is huge to be taken away.
Yeah.
So it depends what context you put on it. Like, are you bigger than Portsmouth? Yeah.
Portsmouth probably actually have a bigger fan base, even though we're all skate bastards.
I'm going to,
that's besides the point.
Wow, that took a turn.
But I'm just going to put a contextual thing onto you saying Southampton aren't a big club. I'm going to slightly argue it. So if we talk about history, you say you haven't won any trophies and stuff, but that's not what I'm going on. The Premier League is 30 years old.
Virtually, yeah. 30 years, yeah.
How many seasons have Saints not been in the Premier League?
They've been in it more often than they haven't.
Championship, League One, Championship, and then relegated. 6 or 7.
Yeah. So
out of 30.
Out of 30, that's 23 seasons in the Premiership. That's a lot. Then you start talking about some of these clubs that do claim to be big clubs, and they've been in the Premiership for like 5 seasons.
Yeah.
You've been
like I say, everything needs context.
You've been running with the big dogs. You've been in the top tier for that long. There are teams that you go, oh my god, they were in the Premiership at some point.
Swindon.
Swindon.
Oldham.
Coventry.
Bolton.
Bolton, they were there for a while. But there are teams that were there that people don't even remember were there.
Blackpool.
So
I don't think people have got that short of memory.
Yeah. But Southampton have been there for a very large part of it. So I would put you down as a big club. You've been there for a good stable,
I like his argument.
Yeah.
So.
But I
like the fact that he's put a lot of context on that.
But I don't think the fans think that we're bigger than we actually are. Because I don't think we don't.
I would agree with that.
Longer than Leeds have.
I think you're a bigger club than you're giving yourself credit for.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Anyway, we are sort of droning on a little bit because that's what we do. And that's partly why we set the pod up in the first place. So this time, I will say goodbye this time in a minute. But I just want to point out that our expectations for this podcast when we first started it were pretty low. I'm now realising.
Rightly so.
Rightly so. I couldn't agree more. But we thought at the end of episode 10, which is what this is, we were hoping for sort of 70 or 80 downloads, and maybe a few hundred views on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think we thought, if we can get 500 views on YouTube, and if we can get sort of 60, 70 downloads, maybe push to 80 after 10 episodes, we'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that 9 episodes in, obviously this hasn't been released yet as we're talking, but 9 episodes in, we are 3 downloads away from having 200 downloads on our audio only after 9 episodes.
That's impressive.
And again, 9 episodes in, we've had 2,097 views on YouTube, and that could have even gone up since we've been doing this pod because it goes up all the time.
That's great.
So I would like to say a massive thank you to anyone that is listening and downloading it and watching it on YouTube. We absolutely love you, and we genuinely didn't even think we'd have this many.
Actually blown me away a little bit.
It's crazy. I was making a note of it the other day, and I thought,
tell your friends, forward it on if you've done it. Just share it on Facebook. Because, help us out.
Yes, we talk crap, and yes, it is all football related, so it has to be someone that's into football. But we are going to try, and when we say we're going to try and help the people that are listening, we genuinely are, and we have got, thanks to James, we've got a signed Everton shirt, which we are giving away. There's going to be no money involved. There's no raffle. There's nothing. You've just got to go to YouTube. You've got to follow us. You've got to subscribe. You've got to like the videos. And under the videos, just write #Everton shirt, and you'll be in the draw. As soon as we hit 250, which again, I realise is sky high. But, why not aim high? and somebody will end up with an Everton shirt. If you are close enough, we will film our drive down to you and we'll hand it over to you personally. If you are okay being filmed, we will double check that with the winner before we take a trip out. But yeah, we'll film our journey down there. We'll hand the shirt over personally and we will film it and we'll put it on YouTube so everyone knows that we did have the shirt, we have given it away and somebody has won it, whoever it is that gets drawn out, and we will be doing a live draw. So thank you very much. We love you loads. We didn't realise it would be as big as it has been. So yeah, we just want to show our appreciation really. So thank you very much and we shall see you next week.